Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining today's webinar, A Victim of Too Much Technology, How to Consolidate Your Systems, and most importantly, learning how to do it. For those of you that are looking to make a decision to go with Brokermint or close to pulling the trigger with us, make sure you stick around for the end of the webinar. We will be releasing a promo code for 50% off the first 3 months on the Brokermint system. So super exciting. Make sure you stick around here. Once again, my name is Charlie Simon, and I'm the VP of Enterprise Sales here at Brokermint, and I'm in charge of consulting small, medium, and large-sized companies on their technology stack to find the best fit for their business. If this is something you're interested in, I would be happy to set aside some time to take a consultative approach to your business practices and tech stack. During this webinar, we will presenting different technology stacks we have encountered with our clients, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We will be providing a roadmap to success, not only for companies just starting out, but all the way to well-established brokerages with more than 100 agents. Our goal is to help teams and brokerages avoid common issues they encounter as they grow, and to give proactive advice to make sure your platforms are supporting your business instead of impeding your process. At the end of the webinar, we will be providing a list of technology milestones and best practices that have been compiled from data collected by thousands of brokerages, teams, and agents. To make our time the most productive, please reach out in the chat if you have any questions. I will try and answer all questions live, and if we run out of time, I will make sure to personally email you. We'll be going over a lot of content today on tech stacks. Please feel free to check back in once we release the recording to reference all the content I will be sharing today. Our agenda today is Introduction to Technology for Real Estate, Technology Milestones, and the bad and the ugly technology stacks that we see out there. And most importantly, how to fix bad practices with Brokermint. And at the end, we'll be going over all the questions that come up and providing great answers for those. For those of you that do not know, there are some core components to your technology stack that you should have eventually as you grow your business, as it's more effective if most of your technology is connected through integrations to eliminate duplicate entries for your admins and agents. As far as workflows, I will be talking about them in order, but keep in mind it's not always necessary to have a CRM before a transaction management system. In most cases, for smaller brokerages, it's more important to have an automated process for your contract to close before you actually start thinking about tracking your leads, website IDX connections, and doing lead generation. So when you first start out with a lead, you most likely are manually keeping track of it, whether it's Excel or you're using an actual CRM, and that stands for Customer Relationship Management System. The main business use case with CRMs are to nurture your leads until you get them into contract. In this case, you are taking a listing and transitioning it into a pending deal. Once it goes pending or in contract, this is when you now start the contract to close process. This is normally called transaction management, and that includes checklist templates, which are important tasks, making sure your agents and admins get reminded about all the important docs and things that they check off as they complete. And as soon as your admins and agents submit docs, they then go into a compliance review process. Some brokerages have compliance officers or maybe even an admin that review all the docs before final submission. Next piece of technology you guys should have is some type of commission tracking. It is very helpful to keep track of commission splits and fees for your agents. Based on consulting to over 1,000 plus brokerages, you'd be very surprised to see a lot of companies that are still doing it manually to this day. There's a time when you scale and this gets more and more complicated. you start running into a lot of human error, which is the inevitable. To my knowledge, agents want to make sure that they're getting the correct pay at all times, and I think as a broker, you would agree as well. With Brokermint, we even have individual commission statements, so there is no discrepancies on the agent's payouts. Also, we generate CDAs to title and escrow offices for all disbursements on the deal. After all the commissions on the deal have been paid out, now we need to track everything that has been processed. Next in your technology stack is reporting and analytics. And most importantly, you're going to be making data-driven decisions with accuracy rather than guessing. Having a top production leaderboard is nice as well, and forecasting your projected sales for the month is always important. The next piece of technology is your accounting system, for example, QuickBooks. Processing your deals and paying your agents and doing your 1099s. This process is a lot of data entry for the average accountant or CPA. Without integrating your accounting system, you'll run across many duplicate entries and even human error. Brokermint has a phenomenal integration with QuickBooks Online and desktop to eliminate all the headache for you. Most brokerages actually spend about $4,000 to $5,000 at the end of the year just to reconcile their books. With this integration, it will actually eliminate all the data entry and most importantly, human error. And it is a must to have this piece connected to your main back office. How you eliminate duplicate entries is important, and we also do that through MLS integrations and even have a built-in e-sign with Brokermint. The last piece here is storage, which is very important. Brokermint has unlimited storage, and we back up all your transactions in data automatically to your own Dropbox or Google Drive. In the case of an audit, trust me, you will be covered. Now that we've covered the technology that you should have in your brokerage as you scale, let's talk about when to implement this technology into your brokerage. Timing is key. The time to start thinking about technology is when you are a newer or small-sized brokerage and reach your first 5 transactions per month. The first step is having some sort of system in place like Brokermint to begin automating your process. This will allow you as a busy broker owner or even team to spend less time worrying about the organization of your business and allow you to focus on growing and scaling your business. At this point, you also may want to consider hiring an admin to start delegating some responsibilities to some team members besides yourself. Once you start averaging about 15 to 20 transactions per month, you'll start to think about purchasing more leads and hiring more agents to duplicate your success. Considering you will be dealing with a much larger portion of transactions for your team, you will want to invest in automating as much double entry as possible. This frees up your time for your admin staff whose workload continues to grow. A good solution would be something like Brokermint's MLS integration to pull over listing information automatically, and QuickBooks integration to automate cutting checks and manage your cash flow. Maybe utilize something like automation of drip campaigns through your CRM and Brokermint CRM integration to pull in lead data without creating new profiles. Your next milestone is about 35 to 40 transactions per month. At this time, you most likely will be over 50 agents in your brokerage, and you are now considered a successful enterprise brokerage. But you still need to scale, of course. It would be very hard, if not impossible, to get without the proper technology to support the structure of your company. You are at the point where you need to delegate your success and maybe even expand your office space. Or, you know what, the better option might be opening a separate location. You also should have a CRM or additional lead generation in place because at this point in time, companies typically hit market limits and need additional lead gen channels. This being said, the main goal is to emulate all the efforts and results that the first office accomplished to make your office successful. This means you'll probably want an onboarding tool in place to simplify the process of adding more agents and more administrative staff to your new office. Your workflow at this point will be supported by the technology in your office. Also, your brokerage technology stack will constantly be looked at agents, giving them the right incentive to join your team. Now that we've talked about milestones of when you should implement different technology, let's take a look at some different brokerage setups and analyze where we can consolidate. As you can see, this is a small to medium-sized business with 15 agents. And if you ask me, it looks like they have way too little technology. Even with the technology that they have, there's a lot of overlap. And even though there aren't many systems in place, as you can see, you constantly have to hop around systems from the contract to close process. There is no CRM for lead management or lead generation in this technology stack. Potentially, they use a website to generate leads and track them. As you can see, there's no transaction management tool, or maybe they're using something like DocuSign or Dotloop, which is, in my opinion, a more glorified forms management tool for e-signs and docs. As you can see, they use Google Drive and Dropbox, probably used for document storage or data storage. As you can see, commissions are done manually via spreadsheets. Maybe you have an accounting tool like QuickBooks that you have to manually type financials into also, which is making more duplicate entries for you. Reports are less accurate because you have to actually reconcile all the data from multiple systems or generate reports from multiple systems. So it's a pretty convoluted process, as you can see here. Agent management, probably all done using Dropbox or Google Drive, if done at all. As you can see, there's no compliance for onboarding. Hopefully they're setting the right expectations and goals well for their company. Now let's take a look at a larger brokerage. As you can see, there's a lot of pieces of different technology, from CRMs to transaction management to storage to e-sign platforms, even accounting options. So in my opinion, too much technology makes for a tedious process. This company really needs to consolidate. As you can see, they have multiple CRMs for lead management. My question would be, why? Believe it or not, I see this all the time in companies that have more technology. They think it's better, where all you really need to do is just be properly consulted on which is the best fit for your current technology stack. Possibly multiple transaction management tools. I have been seeing companies using Dotloop, Transaction Desk, SkySlope all together when most systems are not integrated. So it's just a lot of different pieces of technology when you can always consolidate and reevaluate that technology stack. Commissions are done by another tool, possibly by BrokerSumo or QuickBooks. Hopefully they're off spreadsheets by now, but I understand if they're not. I know SkySlope and Dotloop does very little reporting, but last I checked, Dotloop has a one-page graph as their report. You're definitely going to need to reconcile the transaction and commission data to make sure you have accurate reports for this one. Agent onboarding needs to be consistent. It's really hard to imagine a company like this able to communicate with all their agents. How can you outline such a tedious process? You're going to need an onboarding tool to make sure everyone completes the necessary documentation before they actually do business under your name. So now we've took a look at bad and ugly technology stacks. Let's actually take a look on how to consolidate with Brokermint. So for example, from the previous example before, we can see that the company had way too much technology. We can now see how to consolidate and simplify the process through Brokermint. Everything I talked about so far with technology from contract to close is actually covered in the Brokermint system. We are a contract to close back office that covers 4 main components of your tech stack, which includes transaction management, commission tracking, reports, and agent onboarding. For larger brokerages, you will probably need a CRM as well as an accounting system like QuickBooks. And we are talking about 3 pieces of technology rather than 8+ pieces, like you saw in the other examples. If you utilize Brokermint's CRM integration, you can reduce duplicate entry for all the data for the 2 CRMs. You can also reduce double entry with MLS integration. You can execute forms with DocuSign integration, or even reduce more costs by consolidating with Brokermint's built-in e-sign platform. You should be able to completely eliminate spreadsheets and integrate with QuickBooks to automate commissions, cutting checks, and managing your cash flow through QuickBooks integration. You will also be able to integrate with surveys to generate reports on client or agent satisfaction with maybe, for example, Real SurveyMonkey, or we have some other options through our API. You will be able to utilize agent management for agent onboarding and agent goal tracking. You will also be able to back up your data to Google Drive or Dropbox for secondary storages for your company. If you pick the right system like Brokermint, it will translate your current process into a much more efficient contract to close full suite system. And I am definitely sure this will allow you to cut costs and eliminate a lot of your redundancies. So before we end our call today, I would like to take an in-depth look into your technology stack and answer any questions that you have in chat. So the question here is, based off what you learned in this webinar, what do you think about your current technology stack? Do you think you have too much technology or too little? So if you want, you guys can enter that in the chat and I'd be happy to take a look at it and we can go over some stuff together. But other than that, that pretty much sums it up. I want to thank everyone that had the chance to attend today's webinar, and I look forward to answering any additional questions that you guys have. Feel free to call me directly, or you can always email me as well, and we can set up some time to jump on a call if need be. And if you remember, if you're close to pulling the trigger with Brokermint, take down this promo code TECH50. This is going to give you a huge discount with Brokermint, 50% off for the first 3 months. And I thank everyone for joining the call here today, and have a great rest of your day. So I see here we do have a question or an answer to that poll, and they said just right. So Linda Miller, great example. I believe you're a current client of ours, so that's awesome. Great to hear. And like I said, if you guys have any other questions about Brokermint or technology stack, or you just want to be consulted all around, contact me and happy to go over that with you. I thank you again for joining, and have a great one. Bye-bye.